Hi there, Scorpio. Welcome to your end of October 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So happy solar return. The sun goes into Scorpio. I believe it's on October 21st, but it might be the 22nd. I kind of forgot that one. But, as I record this, it's going to be about 10 or 11 days from now. So, in the near future. I just got that card in another sign, so it's kind of interesting. Let me put this down so you can see it better. Okay. I have to take these cards away from here. The heart of the matter is the Lover's card, which, it's self-explanatory, but it does go beyond just relationships. But in terms of relationships, it can be these two people that are finding out more and more about each other. They use the depiction of nudity to kind of symbolize intimacy, and that can, I think, confuse people. God, it looked like he had a hairy butt. What do you think? When I look at it, it's actually like stripes on his butt. But anyway, but the Lover's card is about intimacy, and if any sign is a fan of interacting with a partner at the deepest level, it is you, Scorpio. And yet, finding somebody who appreciates that might be kind of a challenge. It's not necessarily something that everybody wishes to do. And I'm sure that there are plenty of Scorpios out there who have been frustrated by the desire to, really connect at that level, and finding people that are kind of like non-committal, being silly, surface in their interactions with you, and that can lead to disillusionment. And we do have in the past position, actually, a card of mourning the loss of something. But I feel like in this case, it can be that you have experienced a loss and you are pondering whether or not you can trust again. And this loss could be death, but it can also be, and this is in the past position, by the way, but it can also be something that is, to me, like of a disappointment, that somebody did not do what they promised to do. You thought that they were going to be better than that. And but it's one of those deals that I think Scorpio, it kind of like can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, where you are anticipating something that turns out like you had envisioned, and then you're like, oh, poor me. When in fact, you may have been quite cynical about the possibility of being able to sustain it in the first place. I mean, you might have gone in with that kind of cynicism, and it might have been reflected in some of the behaviors, the things you said, and the things you did. And therefore, you kind of, it's not to say you brought it on yourself, like pointing fingers, but you certainly might have helped it along. And so, it's a very interesting dilemma. And then we have, for the higher message, the Eight of Wands. And this is kind of like, to me, the Eight of Wands is true for so many of us, where we're kind of waiting for something to happen. And it seems like little by little, we have more and more things, but there still is this major slow zone that we are in, that we feel stuck in. And this is true for you. Maybe this is true for your love life, or if you have been waiting for somebody, maybe this is even like twin flames reunion. I don't know. I feel like the sense of you waiting for things to just burst. And this card is saying, yes, that's exactly how it works, where it's like potential energy, things building up, and then you're off to the races. But until that point, you can feel very kind of caught in this holding pattern in life. And it can feel very frustrating because you don't know exactly, like, what should I do? Which way should I go? And there's nothing you can do, And with the Eight of Wands, it can be kind of like flying, maybe it's like you go from 0 to 80, where all of a sudden it's, and same thing with career matters, where it's kind of stalling. Maybe you had some kind of disappointment, it's stalling, and then you're off to the races. And it's like you have to just, everything is just happening all at once. And that's kind of hard to believe when there is so much stagnancy. But you have to be able to see beyond this moment in time. And if you have been longing for a relationship, and this may even be indicative of the type of person, maybe it's a fire sign. Leo was in my mind. But Aries, Sag, they're all their fire signs. If there's been somebody specific that you have been kind of waiting for, longing for, and it seems like it never happens, all of a sudden, boom, you might be feeling that. And, Neptune in November, at the end of November, I've done your forecast, so I already talked about this. Neptune will be going direct at the end of November, and you might have felt disillusionment in a love situation where you didn't have what you wanted, and now everything starts to move. So what crosses you is the Fool card, and this is kind of what I was just talking about, because the Fool is on a new journey. This is the first card in the deck. 0, the unknown quantity, and like what's going to happen, but feeling like there is no forward movement, feeling like you're treading old ground. And I feel it's possible, I can't say for sure, that with the Five of Cups, you're dragging yourself down. Maybe you're even regretting something that you did or said towards somebody. But I want, and maybe you should, look at something that happened from, with a critical eye and saying, oh, wow, I really blew it. That's okay. Because if you learn from it, then that's awesome. But if you're just wallowing in it because you just want to feel that sense of you're the victim, then that's a totally different story. And then you're just kind of like spinning your wheels. You're not really advancing in your life. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about using your regret or grief as a teachable moment to empower you in the future. What is coming in is the High Priestess. This couldn't come at a greater time, because I think that Scorpio is, I always say this, it might be the strongest, most powerful sign in terms of, what you are given, the tools that you are given. I think it's one of the most powerful signs because you are very psychic. The High Priestess is about tuning into, I'm trying to see if you can see her without me having to hold it up. Tuning into things at a deeper level and, tuning into your higher self. Be still and know So gaining information from the spiritual realms instead of the physical one, which is going to encourage you in a worldly sort of a way. It's not going to, ask you to transcend whatever it is that you're feeling, knowing that it's an illusion ultimately because it's temporary. But I think that Scorpios oftentimes deal with very intense situations, and they are equipped to do so, that they have, you have Pluto and Mars as your rulers fighting for you. And yet you have to be your feminine sign, so you have to really, this is a very feminine card, the High Priestess. Not about doing, but being. They have that saying, don't just do something, sit there. And then the outcome, 6 of Wands. This is connected to Leo. This can be victory, taking your victory lap. It's very career oriented. So if this is like a combination of looking at your career, I would say with the 8 of Wands, that if you felt like some kind of stagnation, then you get your recognition. I'm not saying it's happening in this time frame, but that this is definitely something that is in the cards, pardon the pun for you. And in terms of love interests, I had said Leo, so maybe that is the person that you are tuning into psychically and who you really want to have that deep relationship with. I think in some cases you might just be gun shy. You might have had, negative experiences that make you like leery of opening your heart again. I think this is one of the most difficult lessons for Scorpios in general, is trusting again. Fixed water sign tend to hold on to emotions and opinions, experiences that you've had, and find it hard to let go of them. And letting go does not mean erasing them from memory, but like an alchemist, transforming them into something that is, I was going to say positive, but that sounds so cliched. What I really mean is turning them into something valuable. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. I'm mainly an astrologer. I say that because I do a lot of tarot readings, and sometimes people want astrology, and I feel very comfortable with astrology. But again, all of these tools that I use mainly for evolutionary purposes, not for being a fortune teller. No hoop earrings on me today. I believe that we create our reality. We co-create it. We're not completely in charge of everything, but we have a lot of power that we can either use, not use, or abuse. So which is it going to be? That's the question. Take care. Bye.